Okay, welcome back. This is Mr. Turner. Okay, we are doing another color theory project, following up on the last two color lessons that we had. Now, I'm going to tell you now, before we actually start this lesson, if you have not seen Mr. Turner's art class, um, RGB, do not do this lesson. Go back and look at that video, then come back to this one because you're going to be kind of lost. Now, I'm going to tell you now what we're going to do is we're going to create a color wheel, except we're going to add value to that color wheel, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the shading method that I showed you in Mr. Turner's art class, RGB. So, I'm going to tell you now, you might want to get a pencil because you might want to write these down. Now, just to give you a heads up on how this is going to work, okay, these are the colors that you're going to use. Okay, this is the list. Now, what we're going to do when you create that color wheel, I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to draw that, when we draw that circle out, you're going to go around almost pretty much like a clock. Like if you look at this clock, you got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so forth, so forth. Okay, you're going in that direction. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. So I just think this would be a lot easier if you just write these colors out so you can it'll make it easier for you to do the color wheel. Now, what I need for you to do, you're going to need, just like from the other lesson, you need 6 colors. Okay, you need six colors, and you're going to need black and white. Okay, so I have, you got your red, you got your orange, red, orange, green. You're going to use blue, purple, yellow. You need white, and you're going to need black. Okay, to make this work. So basically your warm colors, your cool colors, and you have black and white. So make sure you have those colors. And you can use crayons, color pencils, pretty much whatever you got to make this work. Also remember I showed you a way that you can use a pencil to do this. So make sure you have one of those. Now, to create an eye, we're going to make a semi-realistic eye. And for those of y'all that are my advanced art students, you can create an anime eye or whatever. But for everybody else, I would just follow along. Now, you are going to need a bowl or something to make a circle. You can freestyle the circle, but if you need a bowl, just use a bowl. So, all right. So I kind of already have one here. I'm going to try to help you all out. When we do this, I'm just going to sketch this out. I'm not going to worry about this thing being 100% straight. Like I said, I'm just going to freestyle this. I guess I'll put this little part up here because I'm going to show y'all something in just a second. Alright, now, if you look at a person's eye, if you go in the mirror, look at your eye, you will realize that probably the top portion of your eye and the bottom portion of your eye are clipped by your eyelids. So I'm probably just going to clip just the top. I'm going to leave the bottom section down there. I do like that. Let's be sure y'all can see it. So you just want to make an almond shape. It doesn't have to be, exactly like mine. Almond or a lemon shape. Now, again, you see how I'm leaving this section right here open. So that is basically just for effect. Usually the bottom section of your eye is going to be clipped and the top section is clipped. And I'm going to go ahead and erase this little piece up here. Alright, so now if you want to use the bowl, you use the bowl, but like I said, I'm just going to freestyle this. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put a dot in the middle. And I already drew one just so I can show you kind of how you're going to do this, like with the numbers. I would recommend that you first start out by putting the numbers up here, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going all the way around. Pretty much like I said, just like this. Use that watch or clock or whatever. And then divide it up evenly. And you're not gonna, these are not perfect. I didn't go and measure these things, I mean, or whatever. I just made sure that the easiest way for me to do this was I started out like this. And if you have a ruler, that would probably help. I don't have one. I'm definitely not going to Walmart to get one, so I'm just going to use that. Matter of fact, I'm just going to use this. So we just use straight edge. Just use a sheet of paper. I'm like, right now, people are not covering their mouths and all that kind of stuff and wearing gloves, so I am not going to Walmart to get nothing. I will make do with what I got. Okay, so, and the numbers and stuff, I would write that on there real light so you can erase that. You know, you're not gonna need those, obviously, but that's just as a reference to help me. Whoop, I'm tripping. That's just to help me understand, you know, basically where I'm gonna put these lines. So at this point, I know I'm gonna have. Let me see. Let me come over a little bit. Okay, I know I'm gonna have a 1 right there. I know I'm gonna have. I could just space it out, just whatever, 2. It does not have to be perfect, believe me. Just come across. Just make sure you come through that little dot. So I know that's there. You know that's there. You know I got that one. You know we gotta have an 11. We need to have at least a 10. So let's go through that little dot again. Just come through there to there. Just do that. From there to there. And you know you can just go ahead and just number 1, 2, you know 3, you know 4, 5, 6, 7. You know you got your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so you know you got those. Now again, you can go back and erase those after we're done. You know, you just want to be sure you have them, just to help you out. Now, I would go ahead and, because this is an eye, I'm gonna start off with the iris, and I'm probably gonna darken this just so you can see it. Let me go ahead. Let me just darken this thing. I want to be sure you can see it. I hope the pen don't go out because I'm not going to Walmart to get one. It's kind of dangerous. Let me see. They say you have to suffer for your art, but not today. And again, you know, if you don't have all the supplies, you know, to do this, just do the best you can. If you do not have colors, you can do this project with black and white. Just understand that you're supposed to do this with the 12 colors. But if you have to do black and white, use black and white. I don't want anybody feeling like, oh my God, I don't have this, I don't have that. You know, it's not that serious. You know, I want you to understand the concept of what you're doing more than anything. So as long as you understand how to do this shading, value, you're good, and we'll just get it together next year. If you do have some colors or whatever, you know, again, I just want you to relax and enjoy yourself. Okay, so we have this. Okay, we got a 12 pie slices, you know, from 12 going all the way around. Now, we need to add a iris to this. Well, actually, we got to add the little rings. So I'm gonna start off with the pupil because I think that's going to be easy one. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna use this so you can see it. So I want that much of this is going to be a pupil. Now, normally, like if I'm doing an eye, you know, like an anime eye or anything like that, I would add like a little light source to it. So, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna add one bit of light right there. Let's add another one right there. Let's add one right there. Okay, so those are our light sources, and I'm gonna erase the little line in the middle there. So I have little ovals right here. The ovals are gonna represent light sources in the eyes. So this eye be kind of shiny. Now, I do have this ring right here, and that's going to be very important because this is going to be the section where the colors are going to be black. So let me see. I'll come up a little bit. I'm going to make another ring going around. And again, this does not have to be perfect. Just do the best you can. You know, try to make sure that it's round. Okay, so we got that ring right there, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one more ring. Okay, so it's a little lopsided right there, but you know, it's okay. Now, okay, so this right here, this is going to be important because remember, like we did with the RGB colors. Okay, say if this is red, this color here, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. Well, let's go ahead and finish the eye first, and then we will talk about the colors. So I want to, let me see, I want to add a little bit more of the eyeball right there. Add that right there. So we got those lines. Okay, I know I want to give this an eyelid, so let's just do that. Because we don't want the eye to look just boring. So we got an eyelid right there. We're going to put the little bag under the eye. Put the little line right there. So we have our little bag. We can actually just go ahead and just give it eyelashes. So I'm going to darken this section right here, because that'll help when we start shading it. So matter of fact, let me just do that. Darken that, and then I'm just gonna start doing that. And again, you really don't have to be super detailed, but you know, if you want to, go right ahead. Want to keep it simple, keep it simple. But I just don't want this eye to look totally boring, so we're just gonna do that just a little bit. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here at the bottom. Let's just do that. You know, put some little curves, some little eyelashes. Okay, just to add some little style to the eye. Okay, and we'll go back and fix all that stuff up later. Now, back to this part. This is the important part. So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and use red. So remember, like when I was saying with the RPG lesson, you know, we're gonna go through here and we're going to shade this thing bright red, starting out. I definitely want to try to stay in the lines this time. And if you notice, I'm going in different directions because I want to get rid of all that white. I want this to be a really nice red color. Okay, so we got a red. Now, remember what I was saying with this one. Okay, so this one needs to be pink. It needs to be red and white. Don't want to overdo it. I just want to be sure that it's a good solid pink color. Matter of fact, I'm going to add some white to it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna add some more red. I'm gonna add some white. Add a little bit of black. Just a little bit. Go back to the white. There we go. We muted the color. And then for the last one, okay, which is probably very important, is the pupil. Now, to get this to look right, obviously the pupil is the part of the eye that's black. So we definitely want that to be a dark color, a dark rendition of whatever color that you're using. So I'm adding black right there. Go back and add some red. So it's going to be a really dark blood red color. Okay, so we see how that's transitioning. All right, now let's go back to this, because you're probably going to be wondering, okay, well, if we're going to be doing the next one, which is going to be red orange, how do we create that color? Well, it's quite simple. I'm just going to show you. Any of these colors, all you have to do is I would start out with the lighter color. So in this case, I'm going to say orange. Put some orange down. How we going to make red orange? Or how we going to do yellow green? Just telling you what to do. Just add yellow and green on top of each other. But I would always say start with the lighter color first, and then add the darker color on top. Or if you want to think of it this way, add the warm color, put the warm color down first, then put the cool color on top. Okay, so now we did. Let me see. Okay, now we're gonna add a little bit of red. And you might have to actually put like another coat down, because what I do not want is for this color here to look anything like this one. It's looking pretty good, but I want to go back and add some more orange. And yes, over here it's going to be a similar situation, so I'm just going to make sure this is light, because I'm going to need these two colors on top of each other. I'm going to do a little bit of that. Okay, put a little bit of orange down. I'm going to brush a little bit of this red on top. Then I'm going to take some of this white, put that on top. Excuse me, because I'll tell you right now, have to sharpen that. I don't have pencil sharpener, so I'm having to use a knife. I don't recommend y'all doing that, but that's what we did back in the country. We use a knife, sharpen pencils. So like I said, you got to use what you got. Now, okay, I'm going to add some white on top of this. Add a little bit of orange. I'm going to have to go back and add just a little bit of orange, so we give it that little hint that it's lighter. Might have to go back and add some more white. There we go. So that looks like a very light orange. Okay, over here we're gonna have to do the same thing. We're gonna put some red on top. Excuse me. Start off with the orange. We're gonna add a little bit of red. We're gonna add a little bit of white. We're gonna add a little bit of black. And brush the black on there just real light. Don't push it down real hard because you don't want it to be like, you're not trying to get it black. You just need it to turn gray. And remember in the other video I was telling you different ways to make gray. So I'm gonna add some more white on top of that. So there we go. We got that grayish looking orange, muted orange color. There we go. And then we're going to do this section here, which is the pupil. And we're going to add some black to that orange. Okay, so you can kind of see how that's doing. Okay, so you're basically going to do this with each one of the colors. So I'm not going to sit here and do every last one of these. You can, from the last video, which is why I was telling you, look at the last video, the RGB colors. You know, you should understand how to do this part here. So when you're done, you will have this very colorful looking eye, you know, that shows value, and the pupils will be real black. It will stand out. Now, this is the most simple way to do this color wheel, you know, and you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna do let me do this one. Let me see, we got red on let's do it right here. Matter of fact, let's just use yellow. Okay, this is the simplest way to do this. I mean, because it's real plain, it's just one color wheel. You don't have to just do this particular style, like where it's just a simple circle and it's a bunch of lines like this. I mean, you can be creative. I mean, especially my advanced students. I mean, there's all kinds of anime eyes and stuff like that. Like I started to create an eye that looked like something from Naruto, like the Sharingan or something like that, and then just do the same little concept to it. But then I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, some of y'all might not watch Naruto and you ain't know what that is, and then the eye would look too complicated, and then it would freak you out and all this other stuff. So I'm just like, okay, well, let me just, you know, keep it simple. So I'm just doing this. You know, nothing wrong with just doing this. But if you have the time, and you should, because we're all stuck inside, I would say just play around with it and try to create something different. You know, it does not have to look exactly like mine's. It does not have to just be one eye. Okay, you just see how I just did that right there. You know, it does not have to be just one eye. Matter of fact, let me show you this. This is one I've done with two eyes, and what I was planning to do was one side was going to be more or less the warm colors, all the bright colors, and then the other side was going to be all the dark colors. So I'm just kind of showing you this, you know, how you can play around with this effect. And it's the same thing. The only difference is, like, if you want to even try this, is I clipped the top portion of the eyes. Remember I was telling you that, you know, if you look at yourself in the mirror, if you look at your eyes, you're generally not going to be able to see the very bottom portion of your eyes or the very top portion. So I dropped the eyelid lower, and what's happening right here is that I'm going to use value and I'm going to shade this area kind of dark, and it's going to get lighter as it comes down. But then once I get to the pupil, the pupil is going to be, you know, all the colors. Like say if this is your, let's say down here is your blues. Okay, this area is blue. So this would be blue, blue white, blue gray. Up here in the pupil it'll be blue and black. You know, or violet, you know, so forth, so forth. Or like I said, it was just warm colors, cool colors. So let's say this would be your red, this would be your pink, this would be your red and gray, this would be your red black, this is your yellow, this is your yellow and white, yellow gray, yellow black. You know, all your bright colors will follow that pattern. Then over here, all your cool colors could follow that pattern. You know, again, your purple and white, purple and gray, purple and black. You know, your blue, blue and white, blue and gray, blue and, you know, black. So, you know, you could just sit here and just have fun with it. You could do something like this. It don't even have to be this. It could be something totally different. I mean, figure out the different ways that you would want to create your color wheel your way. As long as I see your colors and it follows the pattern, you know, of value, you're going to be good. It's going to be a good project. You know, I want y'all to have fun. I want you to be creative. You know, don't make it hard. Don't make this extreme difficult. You know, just at the very least, you know, keep it like this. But challenge yourself. You know, just keep it simple. You know, if you have any questions or anything, you can contact me. Once you're done, submit it in Google Classroom. If I'm starting to realize there are people that's not even in my class that are looking at these videos. So if you have questions, you know, just send me a comment or something like that. Just email me on YouTube and I'll try to respond to it. You know, I'm the kind of person, I don't care who it is I'm teaching. You know, if somebody want to know something, you know, I don't have a problem sharing that information with you. So, you know, at this point I just want everybody just to try to relax and have fun, you know, and just learn something new about art. You know, so I hope this video helps you, and you know, just try to have fun, and I will just catch up with you next time for the next video. Alright, peace.